What is up, gents and gal? Dreadknight dude here. We're back again. If you click on the video, it's because you like Dreadknights, you like 40k, you like tournaments, you like whatever it may be. But we won our second tournament 2 weeks in a row with Dreadknights. So we're going to go over step by step. If you watched my last video, we went over kind of the pictures and the tournament and the lists and what we learned and psych powers and everything you need to know about the Dreadknights and kind of the opponents that we played. Today, instead of playing 3 Nurgle, we played Space Marines, we played Chaos, and we played another Chaos player, but Thousand Suns. So we're going to go over each match, we're going to go over the points, we're going to go over everything you need to know and kind of what worked and what didn't work, what I liked about it, what you guys can learn from it. And that's kind of the whole point of the channel, Dreadknight Dude, is really just to go over tournaments, lists, fun lists, competitive lists, Discord. If you guys haven't joined yet, the link is in the description below. And if you guys haven't subscribed, I really would appreciate it because we're trying to get to 1,000 subs as quick as possible, so that way we can actually stream these events. I wasn't able to stream this event because I can't stream on the go unless we have 1,000 subs. So if we get 1,000 subs, you'll be able to see live streams of tournaments when I go to tournaments. Hopefully grand tournaments if you know any are coming up. But once the points update, I didn't know about this, but ITC, my buddy Nolan, who is my second player today, you can actually get points based off the tournaments and per army. There's a Dreadknight army. So I was actually 26th or something in the world with ITC. I know it's not like in the world you're the 26th best, but I got like 280 something points today. So that would have put me up to 3rd place Dreadknight player in the world for ITC ranking once they update it. So that's pretty cool to say. I really appreciate it. The opponents today were awesome. The last opponent was super fun, really good player. Now, what I didn't know is this tournament was like a scenario-based kind of mission. It was the first time they ran a 40k tournament in a long time, so they were kind of like bringing new people in, stuff like that. So the second player I played, very, very good player, and then the third player I played was like the #1 Slanesh player. He just didn't bring his tournament list, but he's a really, really good player. And then the first player was a newer player, so I tried to help him out and teach him a little bit because he was brand new to the game, so I wanted to make sure that he learned from it, and I want to help him throughout the game as well. So let's go over it. I got the pictures, so let's bring the pictures up. We'll throw this one down right here. Cool. So first mission was this one. It's got the 6 objectives or 5 objectives, and it was the slant. I never played this one before. So you set up slant, right, 30 inches over, and then in the corner. So we set it up like that. And then we kind of did, our thing. So what happened here was I put everybody on the table. Every single game I did the same setup. Everybody was on the table besides Purifiers, a squad of strikes, and Libby. And I think that was it. And then the assassin. I actually brought an assassin. So we're going to test out the assassin. The assassin was pretty cool. So those are the only 4 people I put in D-strikes every single time. I did redeploy a couple times because I have the 30-point upgrade with my Librarian. But we redeployed a couple times just to kind of get better angles and stuff. But we brought four Dreadknights. One was a Grandmaster. We brought 3 strike squads, 3 interceptor squads, all minimum units. Drago, the Grandmaster, and then the Librarian, squad of Purifiers, and we'll go over the list at the end, and a squad of and 1 assassin. So we deployed, and first turn I basically moved everybody up. I took engage in all fronts, I took grind them down, and I took the psychic power one for our Dreadknights, which seems really, really good unless you're facing a Thousand Suns player, but it was really good in every single match. So we took those 3 secondaries, and this one, he had a big, huge Primaris tank in the middle here, which was like the 14 wounds, had last cannons, like really, really T8, really good. He shot my Grandmaster, which was up here, and I had the shunt ability on him because I told you I was going to put the shunt ability on him instead of... Sorry, you didn't see that video yet. I have to post a couple videos. I have like 3 battles waiting to be posted. But we found out that the shunt on the Grandmaster is way more beneficial than the shunt on the Librarian. So we put the shunt special thing on the Grandmaster. So we targeted the Grandmaster. Grandmaster then shunted all the way in this corner back here on turn 1 because he took turn 1. So basically turn 1 he moved up and then he shot my Grandmaster. Then the Grandmaster then teleported all the way behind his army back here and kind of took some pot shots from regular Marines. So then he took shots at the guys that were in the cover here, and a couple of them died because it was last cannons. So a couple of them died, but then I was able to save my Grandmaster. So then on my turn, I basically moved all of the interceptors up 12. There were scouts here. I moved my interceptors up 12 here, and then basically it was charge on the scouts, killed the scouts. Charge on the scouts, killed the scouts. There was a squad of the deep striking 3-man unit from Space Marines that have like the really cool guns. So they were in the middle here. These guys got shot off the table. I put Empyric Amplification from my Grandmaster onto that tank, which is +1 damage. Anything that's Psi Nemesis weapons, which almost all the Dreadknights are. So they all just everything into the tank to kill the tank. I Gate Affinity from Drago, who was right here. This Dreadknight all the way in the corner here, so I could have line of sight onto the tank. Because I only had 2 line of sight from these two and my Grandmaster. So I had a Gate Affinity this guy all the way over here to have line of sight onto the tank. So I put literally everything in the tank, killed the tank, and then got a whole bunch of charges off. Then the next turn, like this is basically wrapping it up. We were able to keep doing psychic powers on here. I had a strike squad there, interceptors kept moving up. We killed his Dreadnought, which just took a crap ton of damage. I put the psychic amplification again on the Dreadnought, so we were able to do actual 2 damage instead of minusing 1 damage from the Dreadnought. And then everything basically shot the Dreadnought again, because I hate Dreadnoughts. They're just super scary. And he had a Vindicary Assassin, so literally it was assassin versus assassin. We had 1 interceptor left right here. He spent 1 CP, got out of combat. I was able to shoot the Dreadnought that was in combat, and he hopped up here, shot the Vindicare, and then charged the Vindicare and killed the Vindicare. So I needed that. Everything else is still alive. The Grandmaster killed the 1 HQ here. We killed the 2 HQ here. My assassin came in right here and killed his 1 captain here. So she has the gun where if you roll 3d6 above their leadership, it's D3 mortal wounds. And then she has the charges, which is like basically a power sword at her strength. -3 AP, 2 damage. You don't get any invulns. It is awesome. So she killed him. And then we basically there's 3 more regular Marines over here, which we finished up with the Dreadnought and the Assassin. And then the Grandmaster kind of swept this way and finished off his HQ, really good HQ guy, and then the rest of the Marines. So again, newer player, I try to teach him as much as possible. I asked him like what he learned at the end of the game, and he just said, Dreadknights suck. No, he didn't say. He basically learned that stratagems is everything. He started the game with 12 stratagems because he only used 1 relic or something, and I told him, like, spend the next 40 minutes just reading all of your stratagems, because Space Marines have literally the best stratagems. I let him use the stratagem where I deep struck in. He got to shoot people. I gave him the killing stratagem where if his leader dies, he then gets to make attacks. I told him about the stratagem that he can interrupt in close combat, so he interrupted a bunch of times. So basically, I like told him what to do, and he did it. And then I wanted him to learn as much as possible with the stratagems, because Space Marines have almost everything you possibly can. So if anybody wants to leave comments, or Space Marine player, his name's I don't know if he wants to tell me his name, but leave some comments, help him out. Like I'll share it with him. And then again, I'm not a huge. I started again in 9th edition, but I do know Dreadknights. But Space Marines I don't know. I only played 1 guy at my local store, and he shit on me. So hopefully I get to rematch him soon. But that was the game, and then we won 94 to 10. Yeah, I felt really bad. So 94 to 10, the first match. Again, this is the guy who lost all 3 matches today. He won the 1 support prize, where if you don't win anything, he still wins. So he won that prize. But again, I try to teach him as much as possible. That was first game out of the way. Second game was against Thousand Suns, which I haven't played yet, so I was super excited about playing it. And the guy I played with, name is Nolan. We have such a long history of like almost every game I've ever played, he always played it as well. So local guy, always matching up with each other. we just talk crap the entire time. Every time we're at a tournament together. And I always walk over to say, oh, I just say stop cheating every single time. So funny dude, we finally played, we finally got a match in. It wasn't the final table, it was the second table. He didn't bring his Drakari, he brought a Thousand Suns list, which he only played like 2-3 times. So he was kind of newer at this as well. So he probably would have destroyed him with his Drakari, because he's really good at the Drakari. But let's go over this matchup. So he brought 2 of these dreads, which are really good. They get like 16 shots each, 6 mortal wounds. He didn't roll a lot of 6s, but just really good dreads. These guys are the beasts. Like they're really there's so many stratagems to buff up the beast. They are scary. The one monster dude he has here, they only have like 8 wounds. The 2 sorcerers on the floating thingies, a whole squad of 10 terminators, 2 squads of 5 dudes, just troop dudes, and then I think 1 more HQ dude over here. So that was basically the list. It's all about this 10-man Terminator squad. He also had a Terminator HQ right there, who's laying down. But yeah, it's all about just buffing up his huge unit and buffing up the beasts and just all the psychic powers. So what I did was I brought the Assassin. So we spent 2 CP to take out my Callidus and put in the Callidus Assassin, which I thought was freaking hilarious. -2 to deny, -2 to cast, and I basically just put it on his side of the table and said, okay, you deal with him. Because anytime you target him, it's 6s to hit him, and anytime he targets a unit with a Psyker in it, it's D6 assault shots on his weapon, which does like 1 or 3 damage or whatever. I've never used it before. I really just put him there to be annoying. So we tested it out and it was hilarious. All my guys were on one side of the table. All of his guys were on the other side. So I was literally just like, all right, Callidus, Callidus, whatever your name is, go. And he did. So he basically tied up the Demon Prince for a turn because the Demon Prince needed 6s. I think he did 1 wound to him. And then Demon Prince halved my attacks. So I only had 4 attacks in melee, and then I whiffed. So I didn't do it. So he literally just held up the Demon Prince for a turn. And then he fell back and everything just shot the Demon Prince and killed Demon Prince. So how did we set up this turn? This was the scenario. We got the Grey Knight dude templates. We use those all day. The clear plexiglass is blocking line of sight. And then once you're in it, it's true line of sight, except the first floor is all blocking line of sight. Now this little gap here, you can see through that. It's only like part of the actual feature. So basically, like if I'm here, I can see through here to that side, but I can't see on the other side of this thing because the whole front, even though there's windows, is line of sight blocking. So that's how we played the whole Games Workshop scenario thing. This is plexiglass. I like the plexiglass. It was cool. Plexiglass here, you can't see on the other side, but if you're standing in it, you can see through it. Stuff like that. So we set up, I believe, 12 inches up on both sides. We had 6 scenarios, which is great for me, great for Grey Knights. We did the Grey Knight one. I was very tempted not to do the Grey Knight one because he can just deny everything. But then I thought if he is spending it to deny those, I can then cast my better spells later in the turn. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to roll 5. Do you want to deny it? He's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, cool. So he denies it. And I'm like, all right, now I'm going to cast Gape. Oh, shit. I can't deny it. I'm like, exactly. So if you want to play it that way, you either get a secondary, which he has to choose if he wants to deny or not, or he has to save his denies for something better, which my Callidus was literally like right here. He was like, he basically came in over here. So basically was in 18 inches of everybody. So he had to move his army this way. I moved my army this way. So basically we like went this way, but the Callidus was chasing his army down the entire time. So the Callidus does go against me, but I really didn't care at that point on turn 3 or 4. It was kind of like we were already close together. And at that point, I'm not casting a ton of psychic powers. And if I wanted to, I can literally just move 7 and then run him away kind of towards the back table edge back here and just throw his assault shots into any of the psychers. That was really cool. I did spend 2 CP to do that, to switch him out, but I thought it was worth it. It definitely worked out with Thousand Suns. I'm thinking if I face another Grey Knights player, I might do that as well for the Grey Knights, but who the hell knows. We had all 3 Dread Knights set up here. Interceptors, another. So literally everything's on that side of the table. I had 1 Interceptor squad with Drago and a Strike squad. So they were going to go over there, do the Psych Power. They were going to hop up, do the Psych Power. These guys would move up, do the Psych Power. And then these guys were going to move up, shoot, and then hop 12 inches over to that objective. So much movement with the interceptors. And we shot these guys off the table. We put a bunch of, I forget, we did a lot of damage to this dread back here. I think he had like 1 wound left. I moved my Grandmaster. I gated him over to here. And then, no, I'm sorry, I spent 2 CP. I shunted him over here. And then I casted Gate to put another Dreadknight right, wow, that's blurry, right next to him right here. So I literally had 2 Dreadknights on turn 1, put all the shots into this guy and left him on 1 wound. So he was able to shoot next turn because they don't degrade like I thought they did. They're Dreadnoughts, so they don't degrade. These beasts literally just kept coming up and charging, so they basically came into this guy. And I used my 3++ to try and save as much as I can, and I did. I think he only did like 2 wounds to him, so he was fine. Attacked back, did a bunch of damage, and then he basically spent 1 CP to get out of combat, and then we just shot the shit out of everybody. So Beast got shot up, smited. The Terminators, he has a spell and a stratagem where he can actually bring a Terminator back, and if he rolls a 9+, he can spend a CP to bring another one back. So he literally will bring back 2 Terminators, full wounds, back to that squad. And that's kind of why he wanted to test it out and do that, and it worked out really good. So unless you kill 3, they're basically unkillable. There's the Callidus and the Demon Prince all the way over there. He kind of held each other up. I have my Interceptors over there, Dreadknight here, Dreadknight there, Interceptors and Drago under here. So the next turn, let's see if I can figure this out. Sorry how blurry it is. This is my whole army. He has Terminators. I put Empyric Amplification. I rolled 3 dice, dropped the lowest. I think I rolled 11, so he couldn't deny it. I mean, he could, but the Callidus is there. It's so hard to deny it. Put the Empyric Amplification on Terminators. We shot the shit out of him with 1, 2, 3 Dreadknights. I think I spent 1 CP to make him +1 strength, +1 damage, or +1 strength, +1 AP. So killed all the Terminators to shooting. Didn't need to get into combat. We killed the last Dreadnought. We only have 1 wound left. This Dreadnought got smited on, Vortex of Doom. My Libby came in over here. So he Vortex of Doom this unit and took them off. Vortex of Doom and then the Flame one. So he has the War Master, which you can Warlord trait where you get 1 more mortal wound to Witchfire, which is insane on him. We'll talk about him at the end. And the Strikes walked up and just attacked the Dreadnought and killed the Dreadnought. What else? That's basically that. And then finally, at the very end, we tabled him. But the biggest thing about this one was he just picked the wrong secondaries. If you were to go back and redo the secondaries, he wouldn't have picked any of his secondaries. So with this list, if you guys could help him out as well, he's going to read the comments. But Thousand Suns player, 3rd time playing the game. He's a veteran player. He knows a lot about the game. We were able to kind of just engulf him. The Callidus definitely works with denying the powers. -2 for that. Grey Knights have -1. He does have a +1. So basically it cancels each other out, but it's so good having that on the table. And then the secondaries, he was only able to get Stranglehold for 3. And then Rod, whatever that, the banners or whatever in the end for 3. And this one he didn't get any. We had Assassinate, which was the characters, so we got 15. We had Grind Them Down. No, the Ritual, Grey Knight Ritual, we got max there. And then Engage in All Fronts, I think we got 14. So we didn't do the first turn, but we got all 3 the next turn. We had 10 for painting, so we left up with 99 to 26. So that was like a really, really good one there. He castled, I castled, but we had so much movement that we were able to just go around, and it was good. We just literally just, and what's really cool is if you want to get engaged in all fronts with the Grey Knights player, you put your Interceptors up as far forward as possible, and then on turn 1 you move up 12, and even if you have nothing to shoot, let's say you're going first, you just cast your power on a 6 up and then a 7 up, and then they can just shoot and then move 12 again. So it's like the shoot and move in your psychic phase. So literally you move up 12, you shoot, and you put them in somewhere safe, whether it be in dense cover or light cover or behind a building or whatever it may be. You basically put them on their side of the table. So now you literally get 3 points turn 1 because of those 2 units. You don't have to gate, you don't have to do all this crazy stuff. You literally just boom, boom. If you need to gate, which you probably will gate, you're just going to gate up somewhere else. So that's pretty cool. So that's what we learned there. He, again, would change up his secondaries. He would kind of take the 10-man unit to 5-man units. And I think he'd take out some of the weapons and exchange it for other people. So there's a lot that he was going to change. He was kind of testing it out. So playing this again, I think it would be a completely different match. But I'm not sure if I'm going to bring the Assassin next time. I'll talk to you at the end about what I think about the Assassins. But spending 2 CP for this Assassin, hilarious. Totally worth it this game. What do we got? Last game, really, really good player, really fun player. He's the #1 Slaanesh player on ITC. But this time he brought a fun Chaos army. Let's go through his list. He had a squad of 10 Terminators with 8 Meltas, like Combi-meltas with Lightning Claws. He had a squad of 30 Cultists. He had a Demon Prince with like a Wrecking Ball. Like this guy painted so good. He had this huge gate with lights up. Amazing paint job. He had Noise Marines. So we had a squad of 12 and a squad of 10 Noise Marines. He had a Rhino. He had 3 HQs. That was 1 HQ. He had a little Sorcery HQ with a book. And he had a Flying Guy HQ right there. So he had a couple Psychers in it. He had these squad of like 30-some shots with this 5-man unit, which was insane. The Noise Marines, he had a Drill, which was like a dedicated transport that I'm blocking it. He had a Drill like right here that came up out of ground and had like the whole squad just kind of walk out. It had a bunch of Melta guns on it. And if you get into combat, it like does a crazy amount of damage. I had no idea. Nothing. Like this guy, that thing is freaking scary. Then the squad of Noise Marines came into my deployment zone. We had this mission, which when we set it up, it's the long table edges. So we both had like 18 inches on both sides. And then we had 6 objectives again. So I took the Purifying Ritual for the Grey Knights. I took Engage in All Fronts again. And then I took the secondary from the packet, which was dumb. I don't think I should ever take this one. It's if you have 75% or more of your units, you get 15 points. If you have 50%, you get 10 points. If you have 25%, you get 5 points. I only got 5 points because he killed a crap ton of stuff. So that was just a bad call for me. I'm still pretty new to the secondaries. So I got to figure out what secondaries to take if the one in the book is not good. So what did we do? We started on this side. We moved basically everybody up. If you ask him how this game went, he'll just shake his head because we rolled a lot of saves. This is the first time he faced Grey Knights. And just the amount of mortal wounds that we do with this army is just crazy. Especially with the Librarian and the Purified Flame and all the shooting from the Dreadknights, spending 1 CP to boost their like strength. Like it is just a lot to take in. And again, running my tournament list with a fun chaos list, it was an old codex too. Like his Terminators had 2 wounds, his regular guys had 1 wound, right? So it's basically the newest codex versus one of the oldest codexes. That's what we found out during this game. So very fun player, fun time, just felt so bad. I apologize a bunch during this game. Just because when I would say a rule, we had to look it up because he was new to it. So we wanted to look up, make sure that was right. And I wanted to make sure it was right, especially with the Vortex of Doom. And then I rolled like 11 plus on the Purify Flame. So it was D3 plus 3 damage, which he's like, what? I was like, yeah, it's stupid. I'm sorry. So Librarian did like 6 damage. Like it's stupid. So how he set up, he had the Demon Prince here, blocked by all the Cultists. And then he had the Rhino here with the Noise Marines inside. He had the 5-man over here. He had his flying guy in here as well. And then he had his Sorcerer right there in line of sight. So what I want to do, like I did last tournament, was gate up Drago and just Vortex of Doom with 18-inch Vortex of Doom with 3 dice. Just try and nuke him, but I missed my Gate of Infinity. This match on my side, I missed so many Purifying Rituals. I needed a 5. I would roll Perils. I would roll a 3. I would roll another Perils. I'd roll a 3, and then I'd Perils again. So I perilled. This squad back here perilled twice. Didn't get the Purified Flame at all, and I killed 3 Grey Knights myself. So that was hilarious. And then over here, same thing. I failed it. Over there, I failed it a bunch of times. Like my psychic powers this game on defensive was very bad. Offensive, not so bad. Offensive smites were great. Librarian was great. Drago was good. So yeah, everything went good offensively. Defensively, not so good. So by turn 2, guys, we killed all of the cultists, which he has a stratagem that he can bring them all back if there's one left. So I was like, all right, I have to kill all of the cultists. So remember that. If there's one left, he can literally just bring them all back. 30 cultists, walk them on any table edge. It is really good. So we had to kill them all. So we literally put all of the just regular shots all coming from this way, all of the shots coming in from this way, and then these guys deep struck over here. It was Drago Gated Affinity himself, Libby came in, the Assassin came in, and the Purifiers came in. So literally all these guys, and he had Assassinated, so I knew this squad over here was going to die. But all these guys came in over here. We basically took out all of the cultists. We took out the Demon Prince. That was really cool. And we killed the Sorcerer dude. So we killed literally like almost 1,000 points in one turn. And I felt so bad. He's like, it's up. And I understand. Like, if I'm sitting there and I'm losing literally 1,000 points, I can't do shit. I would feel the same exact way. So I felt bad. And then what he did, he deep struck all 10 Terminators, like right in front of my squad. He put like melta-guns into my Assassin. I had a 4-up save. I think I saved like 4 out of, I don't know, I saved 3 out of 4 of them. Yeah, I rolled 3 4-ups out of 4. And then he rolled like a 2 on damage or something. So she had like 3 left or whatever. So she lived through a round of shooting. I lost all but 1 Purifier. And then Drago got assaulted. So basically he assaulted Drago, the Librarian, the 1 Purifier, and the Assassin. Yeah. So he did all that. He killed the Assassin finally. So he assaulted the Assassin, killed the Assassin, and then he killed Drago, and then Drago used 2 CP to get his final stand. So he killed 2 Terminators while himself. The Libby lasted with 1 save, so 1 HP, lived, which is all I wanted, and the Assassin died. So literally it's just Drago, he killed some people, took off, went back to the warp, and then Libby. So it was Libby surrounded by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Terminators. 6 Terminators, I think he lived. Maybe 7. 6 or 7 Terminators, surrounded by a Librarian. Holy shit. Let's go over that. So, and then he brought this thing up. He shot the Meltas into the Dreadknight, left the Dreadknight with 1 wound. He killed 2 or 3 of these guys in the dense cover. And he couldn't see this because block line of sight. He tried to charge these guys. He failed the charge. And those guys died over there. So those guys are now off the objective. There's a squad here, 1 wound left on here, and then there's 1 interceptor or 1 regular strike squad here. These guys are dead. They're not there. So we killed up here. We killed the Rhino. We killed the Noise Marines. Now, if you kill a Noise Marine, they can then shoot as they die, which is awesome. So he killed a squad here. We killed the Noise Marines. And that was basically it on this side of the table. We just had this squad of 5, which was one of the last units remaining. We had this Sorcerer, which was one of the last units remaining. And then the Terminators and these guys over here. So that's basically all we have to kill so far. So what we did, these guys moved up onto the objective. They casted a smite into the Terminators. We did 2 mortal wounds, so 1 Terminator down. He moved up this way. These guys moved up this way. We casted a Hammerhand on the thing. We got it. We casted a smite onto the drill. And then we basically shot everything from here onto the drill. We shot everything from here onto the drill, left the drill with 4 wounds. He then charged the drill, killed the drill. These guys were supposed to charge the Marines. I forgot. We didn't kill the Marines, so it's a whole squad of 12 Marines left with my guys right in front of him. He's right in front of them as well. These guys are on the objective, and what the Librarian does. Oh my god. Okay, so he spent 1 CP to roll 3 dice, drop the lows. He does Vortex of Doom. He didn't block it. 2d3 plus 1 mortal wounds. Killed 2 or 3 Terminators. Then he rolled an 11 plus on his Purified Flame. Does 6 mortal wounds. There goes 3 more Terminators. And then I just said, you know what? I'm going to spend 1 more CP. And I'm going to shoot your Sorcerer right here with a Smite. And I did 2 more mortal wounds and killed the Sorcerer. And that right there, oh, I'm sorry. He had 3 wounds left. I did 2 mortal wounds. And then on his turn, I used my Combi-melta. And I finished off the Sorcerer. He's like, you have a Combi-melta on that thing too? I was like, yeah, I spent 10 points. He was like, okay, of course. So that Librarian killed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Terminators himself, and this Sorcerer in one round of Psych Powers entry. It was the best thing I've ever done in this game so far, and it made me feel so freaking bad for this guy. So yeah, new Codex, old Codex, really good Librarian. So we killed those guys, killed that guy. We have these Noise Marines left, and that's it. Oh, and these guys I think we shot off next turn with these 3 guys. He then gated himself over to here to help out this side. He then shot him. I used my once a turn gate to go right here, like right behind the building, and that was it. So then next turn, we basically talked it out. So all he had left was these Noise Marines, which he probably wasn't going to kill my Grandmaster, and that was it. So basically, we finished this game off with this. So he teleported there. We only had Librarian, this squad, 2 Dreadknights on these 2 zones, nobody over here, and that was it. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4 zones. Just casting my psychic powers because it's the end of the game, so I can just get 6 points every, or 4 or 6 points every time. And then he literally could just walk over here, shoot the shit out of him, and then just charge him and kill him. So he could have probably just finished off that squad himself. So that was that. Pretty awesome, but sad and fun at the same time. Again, great opponent, loved playing him. We finished off this game with 90-18, and he said that was one of the lowest things he's ever scored, and I felt really bad. So we had engaged on all fronts, which we did the thing where we moved up 12 and then shot and moved again. Psychic Ritual, which we got 15, 15, and then for the secondary, which was dumb for me taking, I only got 5. So then we got the 10 points, 10 first round, 15, 15, 15. He had 5 and maybe like 5 and 5, I forget. And he had the Assassinate, so he killed 1, 2, he killed two characters, so that was 3 6 points. And then he had like Octarius Data or something like that. So that was the final. So what did we learn? Let's pull up the list. Oh, that's cool. I forgot I was sharing my whole screen, so I didn't have to like filter or any of that shit. I got the green screen behind me, that's why it's kind of like fuzzy, so my bad. But this is the list. So the only thing that changed from the last time you saw this was we took out a squad of strikes for 110 points, or 115? 115 points. 115 points. No, the 110. Yeah, 110 points. So we took out a squad. We added in an assassin for 100. Right here. So we added the assassin. And then we added 2 Psycannons, which I completely forgot I even had. I was using silencers. Last game I remembered. So I was kind of like playing down on myself, but I completely forgot. But we added 2 Psycannons just for the fun of it. I probably wouldn't bring Psycannons, honestly. They get 3 shots, strength 7. I mean, maybe 2 damage, 2, maybe. I haven't tested it out. But this is, so we use the Swordbearers. Swordbearers? Yeah, the vehicle one. So the Swordbearer one's great for the Dreadknights. We didn't use the Malediction of Lodestone. Like, we didn't use that ever. We didn't use the sea. That's the thing about Brotherhoods, is like, unless you're specifically making your list around it, with this list, it kind of just does so much damage. You don't, I don't know. I'll make a whole video about Brotherhoods, and I'll give my opinions on what I think about each one and what you should do with them and stuff like that. But it's funny, because like, I don't really use the Brotherhoods. I don't know why. It's like, maybe I'm just playing them wrong, or I just don't need them, or whatever maybe. Psychic Amplification, though, or Empyric Amplification, is very good. So that was the Brotherhood. Then we had the Assassin, and then the Librarian. We have Vortex of Doom, Purify Flame, the Combi-melta, the Foretelling the Locus, and then the Psychic Epitome, the Warlord trait, where he can target himself and he gets +1 for Witchfire spells. Remember, Smite is not a Witchfire, which we didn't do today. But make sure that if you're playing it, it's not a Witchfire. So you only get it on Purify Flame, which is only 9 inches, and what's his name? The Grey Knight YouTuber. One last blade. Let's do a freaking video. But one last blade, he deep struck, and then he did Purify Flame. Purify Flame is 9 inches. You deep strike outside of 9 inches, so you can't do it unless you spend 1 CP to extend the range by 6 inches, which most of the time you have to do with the Librarian if he comes in from deep strike. So what you do with the Librarian is he comes in deep strike, you put a squad around him of Purifiers, you spend 1 CP to roll 3 dice, you spend 1 CP to extend the range of his spells by 6, so you don't even have to deep strike him close. So you can go 18 inches away, or 15 inches away. So you deep strike 15 inches away from whatever you want to kill, and then you spend, you do Vortex of Doom, so 3 dice, drop the lowest, so you should get it, 2d3 plus 1 mortal wounds, and then the Purify Flame now shoots 15 inches, flat 3 mortal wounds, plus 1 more for the Witchfire, so it's 4 straight mortal wounds, unless you roll an 11 plus, which we did, d3 plus 3 mortal wounds, plus 1. It's amazing. So that's our nuker. He is amazing if you can get 2 rounds of Psychic Powers in, so that's why you want to kind of be defensive with him. So that's why he survived the onslaught of the Terminators. So Terminators wanted to kill Drago, and they wanted to kill the Assassin, so they left Librarian on 1 wound, which was a bad idea. So that's what you do with him. And then he can spend 1 more CP, so it's basically 3 CP a turn for him to cast another power. So if you really want someone to die, you then throw a smite. And if you have him do the smite first, it's only a 5, and then he can smite something for d3. You don't get the plus 1, but at least it's d3 more smites. If you get a bigger smite, it's d6. It's just awesome. So he can do a shit ton of mortal wounds, and that's kind of what I see with him. I don't see him as a defensive tech. You can use him as a defensive tech. I'd rather just have him as a nuker. He's 145 points. How I have him built with the Combi-melta, and then if something survives, hey, guess what? He's a freaking melta to the face. And I reroll. No, I don't reroll once. But melta to the face, -4, d6 damage. It's awesome. So that's our Librarian. Then we have the Nemesis Dreadknight. So I swapped the shooting thing back onto him. So if he gets targeted, he then can use the once a game shunt to get ported anywhere. So just make sure you tell your opponent that when you go over your list. But then again, you don't have to bring it up at all in the game until they actually shoot at them. So later in the game, when so much shit's going on, they're like, "Oh, and I'm gonna kill your Librarian or your Dreadknight," and you're like, "Okay, I'm just gonna put him here," and they're like, "Fuck," and I'm like, "I know, I'm sorry." And then I'm like, "But you still get to shoot something." So he was happy at that because he's like, "All right, I'm gonna put all the Noise Marines into your Dreadknight." I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna move him here." He's like, "Well, I'm done." I was like, No. You still get to shoot something. So then he kind of put everything else in the other guys and killed everything else. But at least my Dreadknight Grandmaster was safe. And that works so much with like melta guns and last cannons and stuff like that. Because you got to think, all right, can I survive 1 last cannon? Can I survive 1 melta? Because then if you like roll a 4 up or you use his 3++ to kind of like survive, and then you're like, all right, he's got 6 wounds left. I don't want to fucking die, then you could use the shunt. So like kind of plan it out when you want to use it. So that was him. He's got First to the Fray. I have Unyielding Anvil, which I forgot I had with him. I kind of wanted to sub that out for another one, but I kept it because I didn't want to change it. Unyielding Anvil is the OBSEC, and then everything within 6 inches OBSEC, which actually worked out in the last game because I was able to make all the Dreadknights OBSEC, and then the jumpy dudes OBSEC, so that was pretty cool. First to the Fray gets +1 to charge, which don't listen to anybody else. 100% you want +1 in charge on your Grandmaster. Like, he's 235 points. You want him to freaking fight. So keep that on him. Like, it's still really, really good. You get the Dreadknights, if anybody around them, to get the +1 move, if something else charged. Like, it is such a good Warlord trait still, except we lost the reroll everybody to charges, which was really good. But at least now he only gets an 8 charge if he deep strikes or shunts or whatever it may be. So keep that on your Grandmaster Dreadknight. Empyric Amplification, +1 damage, very good spell. Gate of Affinity as well. What else? And he's got the Psycannon swords, all that stuff. Then we got Drago. Drago, every single list you should. He's just amazing. Vortex of Doom in case the Librarian dies, or you want to do a turn 1 Vortex of Doom nuke with him. You can kind of like use your Dreadknight to gate him up. somewhere. As long as you have line of sight to what you want to shoot and everything else is not line of sight, you can then, like, that's how I killed the Nurgle dude, Typhus, on turn 1. So basically, you spend 1 CP, extend the range to 18 inches. You spend 1 more CP to roll 3 dice, and then you can actually do Vortex of Doom, and then you can, like, smite, right? So Vortex of Doom and smite on 3 dice, drop the lowest on his dude, so he's probably going to kill a character on turn 1. So that's his little cheeky thing. And then warp shaping, because he's the one who's going to change the warp. All right, so troops, we got 3 strike squads. Again, I told you 2 of them had Psycannons, but I like Incinerator or Silencers. They're just simple for back shooting. They're -1 AP, 1 damage. They get 30-inch range when you have the one tied up. So free, like they're 6 points if you don't move. They shoot 30 inches, strength 4, like easy, right? I just love the -1 AP. So then the Psycannons, we already went over them. What is it? -1 AP, 2 damage. Not bad, but 3 shots, strength 7. So whatever, try it out. But everybody else has those, and then 3 squad of Purifiers, which again I love, like just 115 points, deep, always deep striking next to the Librarian. 2 Flamers for free, and then the swords. So all these guys have Halberds. I just like having Halberds in the list in the backfield in case I need them. And then all the guys here have Halberds as well. And then all these guys have swords. So 3 squads of Incinerators. They have swords. They're great for the shunt. Not the shunt. I don't ever use shunts. Too much CP. I only use shield on the Grandmaster. But shunts on these guys just too much CP. I usually just use sidebolt ammunition on them. But they do walk up. On a 6, they can then shoot and move another 12 inches. So very, very mobile, these guys. And that's kind of what wins me most of the game, is just being so mobile with these dudes. They all have swords. So pretty good with the swords. And then obviously finishing off with 3 Dreadknights. Silencer, Psycannon, swords. We actually casted Hammerhand a couple times in this game, which I never do. So they casted Hammerhand. They hit on 5s. No, in combat they hit on 3s, but shooting they hit on 5s, and then in combat, like, they hit on 3s, but if you give him Hammerhand with the, like, the one dude had 1 wound left, so we only had 3 attacks, so then we did the sweep to 6 attacks, so basically hitting on 3s, and then re-rolling, I attacked the drills, and needed 5s to wound, so wounding on 5s, and then re-rolling the wounds. With the Nemesis, you get +1 mortal wound if you're in the tide. I wasn't, because he blocked me every single time. And then he killed Drago, so I couldn't change the tide. But 6 mortal wounds, and then freaking, like, Hammerhand on Dreadknights are great. Pumpkin beers are out, by the way. So yeah, that was the list, guys. I really like the Callidus Assassin. Rolling a 4-up, they have to spend another CP. So it makes people think. First player didn't really matter because he was newer. He didn't spend a lot of CP. But the second game, he started with 4 CP. And I didn't use that assassin. I used the Callidus Assassin. And the last game, I got an extra 4 CP out of him. So finally, at the very end, he was like blowing a lot of his CP on his Noise Marines because he gets to, like, shoot them twice and all this stuff. Like, they're so good, Noise Marines. So he was trying to figure it out, like, all right, if he blocks me here, I have to spend 3. If he doesn't block me, I have to spend 2. And he was like he was basically just spending time thinking, how am I going to get around this? And he had to basically put a lot of shots into her. Like, he put a lot of Melta shots into my assassin rather than my characters, right? Rather than my, like, troops and all the other people. He basically wasted it, and he was 4 up in 1. I forgot the CP where you can actually spend on her to -1 to hit, which I always forget. When she comes in, you can spend 1 CP and then -1 to hit her, which I should probably do next time. But wasting Melta shots into her, I saved 3 out of 4 of them, so I rolled really freaking good. She probably should have died. And then if she does get into combat, she has a weapon, which is like basically a power sword that gets no invuln saves. 2 damage each. And then she has another attack, which I didn't get to attack with her because he killed her. But another attack, it wounds on like 2s or something, 3+, I forget what it does. 1 attack, wounds on 3s. Yeah, just an extra attack. But her thing, you can spend 2 CP in your second turn to extend it one more turn. So on first turn, even though she's not on the battlefield, she gets that for you use a stratagem. Then I can spend 2 CP if it's been screwing you up or you're getting frustrated over it. I can spend 2 more CP and it extends it to the second turn. And I don't even have to bring her in the second turn. I can just say, hey, she's still off the table, but she's technically in disguise. That's how you're able to do it. And then turn 3, she can come in and do whatever the hell she wants to do. So she's really cool. She's very, very good. Vindicary Assassin, I don't like it this edition. I love the model. I love the assassin. I always love snipers. But there's so much line of sight blocking terrain in this meta. If you look at I can't show you the pictures anymore, but almost if you set your assassin anywhere up on the table, he's probably going to get shot. I know it's -2 to hit him, but he's not going to be able to see anything. Like, I'm thinking about the terrain today. We had 4 big pieces in the middle of the field. If you're on the bottom floor, it's all line of sight blocking anyway. The whole first floor is line of sight blocking. So if you step out, usually you're stepping out to charge something to get into combat. So I can't shoot anything. He's not good against vehicles. It's D3 mortal wounds into vehicles, and you have to spend a CP for that. Yeah, Vindicary Assassin is just not good unless there's a terrain piece that the tower is this high off the ground, right? And you literally can put him all the way at the top. He shoots 72 inches, so you just put him all the way at the top and just be like, come at me, bro. That's the only time I would play him. And I'd probably spend 2 CP to bring him in and just say, he's up there. That's it. So that is why I can't run the Vindicary Assassin. I haven't tried the crazy bio-meltdown explosion assassin. I don't know anything he does. And the Callidus is very good against Psychich, so I used that today. Callidus, always hitting him on 6s. Just super, super fun assassin thing. And spending 2 CP to basically sub-mount is worth it if you're facing like another Psychich army and you really want to kind of... What I did against that list is I put everybody on one side, 2 units on this side, most of my army on that side, and put the assassin as close as I possibly can. Alright, so that's basically what we learned with this list. Let me know if you have any questions about it. Join the Discord if you guys want to. All the Grey Knights, 40k players, just hit me up. We're always looking for games, or I specifically am always looking for games. I got a game set up in my garage. I'm going to post that video soon. We have 3 videos coming out, 3 full battle reports, 2 at the store, 1 at my garage, and we set up a whole table. We got the bunker, that's what I'm going to call it, the bunker set up. I got all the terrain features. I got the whole board, 6x4 or 6x4, and then we got wood pieces around it so dice doesn't fall off. So if you guys are in the Northeast Pennsylvania area, if you want to make a drive, let me know. We'll set up a game. Hit me up on Discord so that way we can set something up, or we can meet at a store if you guys want to do that. What else? Subscribe, I guess, maybe, so we can stream. I want to stream some games. That would be cool. And let me know if you guys have any questions. Hopefully this helps you out. Hopefully you like it. This is the second time I'm doing it. We got like 1,400 views from the first video like 3 days ago. So I was like, hey, people are watching it, so I might as well keep doing it. Guys, I appreciate it. Thanks for clicking on the video. I really, do like doing this. This is definitely a good hobby, a good thing to really look forward to. I talk to my boy Jake all the time. How I'm freaking just addicted to this, getting as many games as possible. And I'm really liking the Grey Knights. Honestly, really, really liking it this edition. I love the psych powers. I love the versatility. I'm probably going to be sending out this army to get painted soon. So the next couple of games you're going to be seeing is going to be all Terminators. Either Terminators, Paladins, different characters. One of my games I ran a Storm Raven in, so stay tuned for that. But it's really going to be trying out different lists. This list I know works, so I'm just going to leave it. And then I'm going to try some kind of Terminator builds soon. So hopefully Terminators aren't as bad as people are saying. We'll test it out. So guys, appreciate it. Good luck with everything, and we'll see you in another video soon.